Unexpectedly, she became the rumored girlfriend of the mafia boss, the Don's claim. Introduction: the poker table gambit. The Crimson Lotus doesn't exist on any map. 3 floors below a legitimate import business in Little Italy. The underground gambling den caters to men who prefer their vices served with discretion, and their business conducted in shadows. Sienna Russo doesn't belong here. The velvet rope, the armed guards, the air thick with cigar smoke and expensive cologne. This is enemy territory. But Senator Aldridge is inside, and she's tracked him for 3 months. Tonight, she'll finally get the photograph linking him to the drug syndicate that killed Marco. She slips past the entrance using a stolen invitation, her press credentials hidden in her boot, camera pen clipped to her collar. Her pulse hammers a warning she refuses to hear. The private poker room glows amber beneath a crystal chandelier. 6 men sit around green felt, cards in hand, fortunes on the table. Aldridge sits to the left, sweating through his $1,000 shirt. Sienna raises her camera pen. A hand clamps her wrist. "You're late, Bella." The voice is dark velvet and danger. The man attached to it sits at the head of the table, face half-shadowed, eyes fixed on her like a predator who's spotted unexpected prey. "The entertainment I ordered." Ice floods her veins. Before she can correct this catastrophic mistake, bang, bang, bang. The chandelier explodes. Glass rains down as men in tactical gear storm through the doors, automatic weapons raised. Overturning chairs, the acrid smell of gunpowder. A vice-like grip yanks Sienna backward. She slams against solid muscle. The man from the shadows. His arm bands across her chest, pulling her down behind the overturned table as bullets chew through velvet and marble. "Stay down." His breath scorches her ear. She feels cold metal against her spine. His gun, positioned to fire over her shoulder. They're pressed together, every dangerous line of his body imprinted against hers. The expensive fabric of his suit, the controlled power in his frame, the steady heartbeat even as death whistles past. "Who are you?" "Someone you should have avoided." The lights die. Complete darkness swallows them. Sienna panics, grabbing blindly. Her fingers catch fabric, his shirt, and she hears the distinctive rip of tearing silk as they scramble toward an exit she can't see. His hand finds hers in the blackness, strong and certain, pulling her through corridors she can't navigate. Behind them, shouting in Japanese, more gunfire, bodies hitting marble. They burst into a service hallway bathed in emergency red. She's still gripping torn black silk. He's shirtless beneath his jacket, a wicked scar across his left shoulder. That's when she sees the security camera. Its red light blinking, recording everything. Her hand on his bare chest, his arm around her waist, the intimate angle making survival look like passion. "No," she breathes. But it's already too late. By morning, the headlines scream across every screen. Ice Queen reporter melts for Mafia Don. Sienna stares at the security footage gone viral. Her, pressed against Dante Moretti, the most dangerous man in the city. Her professional reputation destroyed in one frame. But the worst headline makes her blood freeze. Moretti's new girlfriend. Death sentence or protection? Her phone rings. Unknown number. "Miss Russo." The voice from last night. Controlled. Deadly. We need to talk about our relationship.
Chapter 1, The Mark. Sienna doesn't hide. Hiding is admission of guilt, and she's done nothing wrong except survive. She shows up at the Metropolitan Times building at 8 a.m. sharp, ignoring the cluster of reporters camping outside, their cameras flashing like hungry predators. Inside, the newsroom falls silent when she walks through. Colleagues who've shared coffee and deadlines for 5 years suddenly find their keyboards fascinating. Margaret Chen, her editor, intercepts her before she reaches her desk. My office. Now. Sienna expects termination. She gets something worse. You're off the Aldridge story, Margaret says, closing the door. Conflict of interest. That's insane. I'm not actually involved with. Doesn't matter what's true. Matters what a defense attorney will argue in court. Margaret's expression softens slightly. Look, I believe you. But the paper's lawyers are already having panic attacks. Any story you write about organized crime will be challenged as biased. You're compromised. The word hits like a slap. Compromised. 5 years of credibility. Gone. However, Margaret continues, I'm not firing you. You'll work remote for a while. Let this blow over. And I've hired personal security. Someone will be contacting you today. I don't need. Yes, you do. 3 different crime blogs have published your home address. Take the protection. Sienna, please. The knock comes at 2 p.m. Sienna opens her apartment door to find a man who looks nothing like a typical bodyguard. Early 30s, lean build, wearing jeans and a leather jacket instead of a suit. Dark hair falls slightly into hazel eyes that seem to catalog everything about her in seconds. There's something familiar in his features. Strong nose, olive complexion, the Roman profile of old Italian families. Miss Russo? Luca Vitale. Your editor hired me for personal security. His accent carries the musical lilt of someone who learned English as a second language. May I come in? She doesn't move from the doorway. I didn't ask for security. No, but you need it. He pulls out his phone, shows her a screenshot from a dark web forum. Her photo, her address, and a price? $50,000 for information leading to acquisition. Acquisition. Not arrest. Not interview. Her stomach turns to ice. How long have you been doing security work? 8 years. Before that, I worked private investigation in Rome. He pockets his phone. Look, I know this is invasive, but the people tracking you don't play games. Let me do my job, and you can go back to doing yours. Against her better judgment, she steps aside. Luca moves through her apartment with professional efficiency, checking windows, door locks, sight lines from neighboring buildings. His Italian is flawless when he takes a call. Something about la situazione and protezione completa. Your family from Italy? Sienna asks when he finishes. Napoli, my father's side. You? Grandmother from Sicily. Came through Ellis Island in '52. She watches him carefully. You have siblings? Something shadows his expression. Had? Younger sister. She died when I was 20. The grief in his voice is genuine. Raw. Sienna recognizes it. Carries the same wound. I'm sorry, she says quietly. I lost my brother 3 years ago. Luca looks at her then, really looks, and something unspoken passes between them. The understanding of people who've had pieces of their soul carved away. That's why you were at the poker game, he says. It's not a question. You're investigating something connected to his death. She should deny it. Should maintain professional distance from this stranger her editor hired. Instead, she nods. Then we have something in common. His voice carries quiet determination. I don't let people I'm protecting face their demons alone. For the first time since the Crimson Lotus, Sienna feels like maybe, she's not completely on her own. Chapter 2, The Devil's Bargain. It happens 3 nights later. Sienna wakes to silence, the wrong kind. The ambient hum of her building's ventilation has stopped. The streetlight outside her window is dark. Even the ever-present traffic noise from Columbus Avenue has faded to nothing. Her hand finds the pepper spray on her nightstand as adrenaline sharpens her senses. Something is wrong. The apartment door explodes inward. 3 men, dressed in black tactical gear, move with military precision. The first one crosses her living room in seconds. Sienna barely has time to scream before a gloved hand clamps over her mouth. Then the world becomes violence. Luca materializes from the shadows of her hallway, like death personified. His movements are economical, brutal, lethal. The first attacker drops with his windpipe crushed before he can make a sound. The second reaches for his weapon. Luca breaks his arm at the elbow, the snap audible even over Sienna's pounding heart, then drives the man's face into her kitchen counter. The third man is faster. He pulls a knife, lunging. Luca redirects the blade with one hand, steps inside the man's guard, and does something Sienna can't quite follow. The attacker crumples, the knife now buried in his own thigh. Luca pins him to the floor, me on his spine, voice deadly calm. Who sent you? The man spits something in Japanese. Luca presses harder, and the man screams. Tanaka-san sends a message. The girl is ours now. Moretti's claim means nothing. Luca's expression doesn't change, but something cold passes through his eyes. He strikes once, precise, efficient, and the man goes limp. Sienna stands frozen in her bedroom doorway, pepper spray useless in her trembling hand. She's seen violence before, covered crime scenes, interviewed victims. But this, watching Luca dismantle 3 trained killers in under 30 seconds? This is different. This is professional, military. Maybe worse. Are they dead? Her voice barely works. 2 unconscious. 1 needs a hospital. Luca straightens, not even winded. We need to leave. Now. More will come. Not until you tell me what the hell is happening. She points the pepper spray at him, knowing it's useless but needing some illusion of control. Who are you really? Luca goes still. In the dim emergency lighting from the hallway, his face could be carved from stone. You want truth? Fine. He steps closer, and she sees something dangerous shift behind his eyes. You were photographed with Dante Moretti. Every criminal organization in this city saw those pictures. The Yakuza, Tanaka's people, they think you're leverage. A way to hurt Moretti's reputation or force his hand in territory disputes. I'm nobody to him. It was a mistake. Doesn't matter. Perception is reality in this world. They believe you matter, so you're a target. He pulls out his phone, shows her a document, official looking, stamped with seals she doesn't recognize. I'm not just security, Sienna. I'm your only chance at survival. Then what do you want? I want you to stop fighting the inevitable. His voice drops, urgent and intense. Moretti is offering protection. Real protection, if you play along. Be his girlfriend publicly. Attend events. Make it convincing. In exchange, he'll feed you everything you need to expose the people who killed your brother. Senator Aldridge, Agent Webb, the whole corrupt network. Why would he help me? Because he's trying to legitimize his family's operations. Your credentials, your reputation, they're valuable. And because Luca hesitates. Because some of us know what it's like to lose someone to this system and want to burn it down. Sienna stares at him, at this man who just killed to protect her, who speaks of organized crime like he's part of it, who's offering her everything she wants on a silver platter lined with blood money. If I say no, then I can't protect you, and Tanaka will send better men next time. Outside, sirens wail in the distance. Luca extends his hand. 6 months, Sienna. Play the role, get your justice, walk away clean. Or refuse, and die chasing a story you'll never finish. She looks at his hand, at the unconscious men on her floor, at the life she knew ending in real time. She takes his hand. Good. His grip is firm, sealing a pact she doesn't fully understand yet. Now pack a bag. You're moving somewhere safer. Somewhere Moretti's enemies can't reach you. Where? His smile is dark. His penthouse. 3. Baptism by fire. The Moretti estate sits behind iron gates in Westchester, a limestone mansion that speaks of old money and older sins. Sienna's dress, delivered to the penthouse that morning, is Valentino, black silk that costs more than her monthly rent. Luca assured her it was appropriate for a family dinner. He didn't mention it would feel like walking into a lion's den wearing meat. Luca murmurs as they approach the entrance. You're his girlfriend. Act like you belong. I don't belong. That's the problem. Inside, crystal chandeliers cast everything in cold elegance. Oil paintings of stern-faced ancestors line the walls. The dining room table could seat 20, but tonight only 6 chairs are occupied. Vincent Moretti sits at the head, silver-haired, hawk-eyed, radiating the kind of authority that comes from decades of commanding fear. To his right, a younger woman with dark hair and designer clothes studies Sienna with undisguised curiosity. And at the opposite end, nursing a whiskey, sits Dante Moretti himself. Sienna's breath catches. She's never seen him and Luca in the same room, and the resemblance is... No. Wait. The bone structure. The voice. The scar on his shoulder she glimpsed when he changed shirts this morning. Oh God. Luca's Dante. Miss Russo. Vincent's voice cuts through her realization like a blade. How generous of you to join our family dinner. My son speaks highly of your investigative talents. The emphasis on investigative sounds like an accusation. Sienna forces herself to meet his gaze, refusing to show weakness even as her world tilts sideways. Thank you for having me. Please, sit. He gestures to the chair beside Dante. We're all family here. Aren't we, Dante? The name lands like a bomb. Rises smoothly, pulling out her chair. His hand brushes her shoulder, a warning and reassurance simultaneously. She wants to slap him. Demand answers. She said, dinner is theater. 7 courses of exquisite Italian cuisine served while Vincent interrogates her with surgical precision. Where did she grow up? What happened to her parents? Why journalism? Each question feels like a test she doesn't know the parameters for. And your brother, Vincent says, cutting into his ossobuco. Marco, wasn't it? Tragic. Such a waste when young people fall into drugs. Sienna's grip tightens on her fork. Beside her, Dante's leg presses against hers beneath the table. Another warning. It was tragic, she says carefully. The system failed him. The system. Vincent smiles without warmth. You mean the corrupt officials who profit from keeping drugs flowing? The politicians who take bribes to look the other way? That system. Yes. Interesting. My son tells me you're investigating Senator Aldridge. A dangerous man to cross. I don't scare easily. No, I can see that. Vincent sets down his fork. Which is precisely why you're a problem, Miss Russo. Young women who don't scare easily tend to end up dead in my experience. The temperature drops. Even the servers seem to hold their breath. Father? I'm not finished. Vincent's gaze never leaves Sienna. My son claims you're his, that you're under Moretti protection. But I wonder, what loyalty do you really have to this family? What's to stop you from writing an expose that destroys everything we've built? Nothing, Sienna says, except that what you've built includes the drug pipeline that killed my brother. And Senator Aldridge, and Agent Webb. We have a common enemy, Mr. Moretti. Silent. Then Vincent laughs, sharp and humorless. Clever girl. Perhaps you'll survive after all. The bathroom is marble and gold, obscenely luxurious. Sienna splashes cold water on her face, trying to calm her racing pulse. The door opens. The young woman from dinner, Dante's sister, slips inside. You held your own with my father. Impressive. She leans against the counter, studying Sienna in the mirror. I'm Isabel. Sienna. I know. Your face is everywhere. Isabel pulls out her phone, opens an encrypted app. You should also know my father ordered your death 3 days ago. Dante countermanded it, claimed you publicly to invoke protection protocols. But Vincent doesn't like being overruled. Sienna's blood turns cold. Why are you telling me this? Because I liked you. And because Isabel shows her the phone. Text messages between Vincent Moretti and someone listed as Senator A. Discussing shipment routes, payment schedules, names. Evidence? I'm tired of this family destroying people. Isabel whispers. If you're really going after them, you'll need this. But be careful. My father doesn't lose gracefully. She sends the files to Sienna's phone. then leaves without another word. Sienna stares at her reflection, evidence of corruption burning in her pocket. The man she thought was her protector revealed as the Mafia Don himself. She's not just in danger anymore. She's in too deep to ever climb out. Chapter 4: Forbidden Lines. Sienna doesn't speak to Dante for 3 days after the dinner. She moves through his penthouse like a ghost, working her investigation from the guest room, avoiding him with tactical precision. He doesn't push, doesn't demand explanations, just leaves espresso outside her door each morning. Perfectly made, the way she likes it. On the 4th day, she breaks. "Why didn't you tell me?" She confronts him in his study, where he's reviewing contracts for what appears to be a legitimate shipping company. Why the disguise? Dante sets down his pen, meets her gaze without flinching. "Because if I'd introduced myself as Dante Moretti, you would have run, or tried to expose me. Either way, you'd be dead now. So you lied. I protected you. There's a difference." He stands, moves around the desk. "You needed to trust me before you could understand what I'm trying to do." "And what are you trying to do?" "Besides run a criminal empire." "Dismantle it." The words are quiet but intense. "My father built an empire on blood and drugs. I'm trying to transition us into legitimate operations. Shipping, real estate, import-export. But you can't clean dirty money overnight without someone noticing. Without my father noticing." Sienna studies him, searching for deception. Finds only exhaustion and something that looks like genuine conviction. "Show me." He takes her to Little Italy. Not to restaurants or social clubs, but to a community center bearing a small plaque. Marco Russo Memorial Youth Program. Sienna's breath stops. "After your brother died, I started funding rehabilitation programs, job training, education grants." Dante's voice carries old grief. "I can't bring him back, but I can try to save others." "Why?" Her throat burns. "Why would you?" "Because I was there that night." He turns to face her, and she sees the truth carved into his features. "I was a soldier then, sent to collect a debt from Marco's dealer. I found your brother in an alley, overdosed, barely breathing. I called 911, stayed until the ambulance came. But it was too late." Tears blur Sienna's vision. "You tried to save him." "I failed." They stand in silence. Two people bound by shared loss and guilt that won't fade. She finds him at Marco's grave on a Sunday morning. He's placed fresh flowers, lilies, Marco's favorite. The sight breaks something in her chest. "You come here?" Her voice cracks. Dante doesn't startle. "Every month? To remind myself why I'm doing this. Why I can't give up, even when my father threatens everything I'm trying to build." Sienna moves beside him, staring at her brother's name etched in stone. "I wanted to hate you. It would be so much easier." "I know. But you keep making it impossible." She turns, and suddenly they're too close. She can see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes, smell his cologne mixing with cemetery flowers, feel the heat radiating from his body in the cool morning air. Sienna. Her name is a warning, a prayer. The space between them evaporates. His hand rises to cup her face, thumb brushing her cheekbone. Her breath hitches. Every rational thought screams to pull away, to remember who he is, what he represents. But his touch is gentle, reverent, like she's something precious he's afraid to break. She rises on her toes. Their lips are inches apart. She can feel his heartbeat racing, matching hers. Then reality crashes down. This is Dante Moretti, criminal, the son of the man who ordered her death. Getting involved with him doesn't just compromise her investigation. It compromises everything she believes in. She jerks backward. I can't. We can't. Pain flashes across his face before his mask slides back into place. I understand. Do you? Her voice shakes with anger and something dangerously close to regret. I'm using you to get justice for Marco. You're using me to legitimize your empire. That's all this is. All it can ever be. If that's what you need to believe. He steps back, giving her space she suddenly doesn't want. I'll have the driver take you home. I am home. That's the problem. She walks away, leaving him standing at her brother's grave, and refuses to acknowledge the tears on her face or the ache in her chest that feels too much like heartbreak. Chapter 5: The Enemy Within. The argument happens in Dante's office at 2 a.m. Sienna wakes to raised voices, Italian curses cutting through the penthouse's soundproofing. She shouldn't eavesdrop. Does anyway. Jeopardizing everything for a giornalista. The unfamiliar voice seethes with contempt. She's using you, Dante. The moment she gets what she wants, she'll burn us all. That's not your concern, Nico. Like hell it isn't. I'm your underboss. Your brother in everything but blood. And I'm watching you throw away 20 years of loyalty for some girl with a vendetta. Through the crack in the door, Sienna sees them. Dante, still in his dress shirt from dinner, face carved from stone. Mid-40s, compact and dangerous, with the eyes of a true believer facing heresy. She's under my protection. That means she's untouchable. Your father doesn't see it that way. Half the family doesn't see it that way. Nico steps closer, voice dropping to something lethal. End it, before she destroys everything we've built. No. The single word hangs like a death sentence. Nico's expression hardens. Then you've made your choice. He storms out. Sienna retreats to her room before either man can discover her listening. The brakes fail on the FDR drive. Sienna is returning from meeting a source in Queens. The city driver Dante assigned navigating rush hour traffic. They're doing 60 when she notices the panic in his eyes. Brakes aren't responding. Hold on. The town car accelerates instead of slowing. Sienna's seatbelt locks as they weave through traffic, horns blaring, metal screaming. The driver tries the emergency brake. Nothing. Tries to downshift. The engine screams, but they're still gaining speed. 80. The guardrail approaching fast. This is it. This is how she dies. Not by Yakuza bullets or her father's orders, but by sabotage from within. Then a black motorcycle appears from nowhere, engine roaring. The rider pulls alongside, leather jacket, no helmet. Dante? He matches their speed, reaches out. The door. Open it. Are you insane? Trust me. She doesn't have time to debate. She unlocks the door, and Dante does something impossible. Grabs the door frame while controlling the motorcycle with one hand. uses his body weight to force the car toward the concrete barrier in a controlled scrape that showers sparks but bleeds speed. 60, 50, 40. The motorcycle drops back. The car grinds against the barrier, metal shrieking, until physics and friction finally win. They shudder to a stop, inches from a support pillar. Sienna's hands shake so badly she can't unbuckle her seatbelt. The driver is hyperventilating, muttering prayers. Dante appears at her door, yanking it open. Are you hurt? No. How did you? Tracker in your phone. When you started speeding. His hands frame her face, checking for injuries with barely controlled desperation. The brakes were cut. This was deliberate. Who? His expression goes cold. I know exactly who. Nico dies in a warehouse in Red Hook. Sienna doesn't witness it. Dante makes her wait in the car while he goes inside with two men she recognizes from the estate. But she hears the gunshot. Single, decisive. When Dante emerges, there's blood on his knuckles and something dead in his eyes. He doesn't speak until they're back at the penthouse. Then, Nico was my friend for 20 years. We grew up together. He was at my first communion, my confirmation, my mother's funeral. I killed him because he tried to kill you. He pours whiskey with steady hands that murdered minutes ago. Do you understand what that means? I just executed my underboss, my father's most trusted soldier, for you. Sienna's breath catches at the weight of it. There's no going back now. Dante continues, voice raw. The family will fracture. My father will see this as betrayal. Every enemy we have will sense weakness and attack. And I don't care. Because if choosing you over Omerta makes me a traitor, then I'm a traitor. He downs the whiskey in one swallow. So tell me, was the girl at the cemetery, right? Is this just business? Because I just burned my world down for you. And I need to know if I'm the only one feeling something real. She crosses to him, takes the glass from his hand, and answers with a kiss that tastes like whiskey and truth and the beginning of something that will either save them or destroy them both. Chapter 6, Shattered Masks. The files arrive at 3 a.m., encrypted, anonymous, devastating. Sienna sits at Dante's desk, coffee gone cold, staring at documents that rewrite everything she thought she knew about Marco's death. Bank transfers, wiretap authorizations, confidential informant agreements. Her brother's signature. Agent Marcus Webb's. No. The word escapes like a prayer. No, Marco wouldn't. He was trying to protect you. Dante appears behind her, reading over her shoulder. Webb recruited him after a minor possession charge. Promised to keep him out of jail if he informed on street dealers. Marco was working for the FBI? Her voice cracks. Webb used him. Got intel, made arrests, built his career. Then when your brother got in too deep, started using heavier drugs to maintain his cover, Webb cut him loose. No protection, no support, just another burned asset. Sienna's vision blurs. Marco wasn't just another addict. He was a confidential informant abandoned by the system he trusted. There's more. Dante pulls up another file. Phone records between Webb and Senator Aldridge spanning 3 years. Webb wasn't investigating the drug trade. He was protecting it. Taking payments from pharmaceutical companies to ensure their diverted prescriptions stayed off the radar. Aldridge provided political cover. They killed him. The realization hits like a physical blow. Marco figured out what Webb was doing. That's why he was abandoned. He was a liability. Yes. Dante's hand settles on her shoulder, solid and grounding. I've been tracking Webb for 2 years. He's careful, compartmentalized, but he's also arrogant. He thinks he's untouchable. Sienna wipes her eyes, rage crystallizing into focus. How do we take him down? We need evidence that links Webb directly to pharmaceutical payoffs and Aldridge's campaign funds. Something that survives legal scrutiny. Dante sits beside her. I have access to financial records through certain channels, but we need Webb on record admitting to the conspiracy. A sting operation. Exactly. You're the bait. The grieving sister turned crusading journalist. Webb thinks you're getting close, but doesn't know how close. We arrange a meeting. You wear a wire, get him talking, and we hand everything to someone who isn't corrupt. Ho. Sienna's laugh is bitter. Everyone's bought. Not everyone. Dante pulls up a file on federal prosecutor Sarah Chen. She's been after corruption in the FBI for years. Clean record. No connections to organized crime or political machines. She'll listen if we give her airtight evidence. Sienna studies him. This man who kills without hesitation but also runs youth programs, who operates in shadows but seeks legitimacy, who's risking everything to help her get justice. Why are you doing this? Really? Dante meets her gaze, unflinching. Because I'm trying to be someone my mother would be proud of, instead of someone my father created. Because your brother deserved better than what this city gave him. And because he reaches out, tucks a strand of hair behind her ear. Because you've become more than a contract, more than protection. You matter. The confession hangs between them, vulnerable and dangerous. We do this together, she says. Full partnership, no more secrets. Something flickers in his expression. Guilt, maybe, or regret. But he nods. Together. They spend the next 4 hours planning. Sienna will request a meeting with Webb, claiming she has evidence of FBI corruption she wants to verify before publication. Webb will come because his ego won't allow her to break the story first. Dante's tech specialist will provide surveillance equipment the FBI can't detect. Dawn breaks over the city as they finalize details. Sienna's phone buzzes. A text from Webb's office confirming a meeting tomorrow at a federal building in Lower Manhattan. This is it, she whispers. Dante's hand covers hers. Whatever happens, I won't let him hurt you again. She believes him. That's the terrifying part. She trusts a Mafia Don more than the institution sworn to protect her. Maybe that's the real tragedy Marco died exposing. One more thing. Dante's voice carries an edge. If this goes wrong, if Webb suspects the wire or brings backup, you run. Don't try to be a hero. Just survive. What about you? His smile is dark. I'm very good at surviving. Bella. It's everyone else who should worry. Chapter 7, The Yakuza Trap. The video arrives during breakfast. Isabel, bound to a chair in what looks like a warehouse, blood trickling from her temple. Behind her stands Kenji Tanaka, calm, a man who views violence as merely business. Moretti-san. His voice is courteous, almost friendly. Your sister is enjoying our hospitality. She has 48 hours remaining to enjoy it. After that, he draws a finger across his throat. You know my terms. The girl in your territory in Red Hook. Or I send Isabel back to you in pieces. The video cuts off. Dante's expression doesn't change, but Sienna sees his knuckles whiten around his coffee cup. Get Carmine, full tactical team. I want building schematics for every Tanaka property in the city. No. Sienna stands. He wants me. Let me go. Absolutely not. Dante, listen. The cup shatters against the wall. Coffee and porcelain explode across white paint. You think I'm letting that animal get his hands on you? I'd burn this entire city down first. And let Isabel die. She moves closer, forcing him to meet her eyes. She warned me at dinner, helped me. I'm not letting her pay for that with her life. I'll wear a tracker. Your team follows. I go in, confirm Isabel's location. You extract us both. It's the only way. The argument lasts an hour. Dante fights dirty, cites statistics about hostage situations, Tanaka's reputation for cruelty, the dozens of ways this could go catastrophically wrong. But Sienna is relentless. Finally, exhausted, concedes. You follow my lead. Every instruction. No improvisation. Understood? Understood. He pulls her close, fierce and desperate. If you die because of this, I'm killing everyone Tanaka has ever loved. Then myself. In that order. She believes him. The exchange happens at a textile factory in Sunset Park. Abandoned. Perfect for an ambush. Sienna walks through the entrance alone, tracker embedded in her necklace, earpiece hidden beneath her hair. Dante's voice guides her through the darkness. I'm 50 yards out. Say the word and I breach. Not yet. Tanaka waits in the main floor, surrounded by 6 men armed with automatic weapons. Isabel is still bound, conscious but barely. Relief flashes across her face when she sees Sienna. Miss Russo, how noble. Tanaka's smile doesn't reach his eyes. You come willingly to save Moretti's sister. Such loyalty, such love. It's almost romantic. Where I come from, we call it basic human decency. Let her go. Of course, once Moretti surrenders Red Hook and removes himself from our... Tanaka circles her like a predator. You understand, this isn't personal. It's simply business. Territory must be controlled. Competitors must be eliminated. Is that what you told yourself when you ordered my kidnapping? Precisely. He stops inches away. You were an opportunity, a weakness in Moretti's armor. And he has proven me correct by... The skylight explodes. Dante drops through in a shower of glass and gunfire, his team breaching simultaneously from 3 entry points. The warehouse becomes chaos. Muzzle flashes, screaming, the metallic stench of blood. Sienna hits the floor, covering Isabel as bullets tear through the air above them. She watches Dante move through Tanaka's men like death incarnate. No hesitation, no mercy. He kills the first lieutenant with a headshot, uses the body as a shield against return fire, then executes the second with clinical precision. The third tries to surrender. Dante shoots him anyway. Stop. Tanaka raises his hands. We can negotiate. You threatened my sister. Dante's gun never wavers. You threatened my woman. There's nothing to negotiate. He pulls the trigger. Tanaka drops, and silence falls like a shroud. Dante cuts Isabel free, checks her injuries with gentle efficiency that contradicts the bodies littering the floor. Then he turns to Sienna, and she sees it, the transformation from ruthless killer back to the man who leaves her morning coffee, who mourns at her brother's grave, who chose her over everything. Are you hurt? His hands frame her face, checking for wounds. No, Dante, you didn't have to. Those men were surrendering. They would have come back. Tried again, hurt you again. His voice is flat, factual. I eliminate threats. Completely. Sienna should be horrified. Should recoil from this man who kills without hesitation, who executes prisoners, who operates by a code that has no room for mercy. Instead, she kisses him, hard and desperate, tasting violence and salvation, choosing him, despite knowing exactly what he is. Thank you, she whispers against his mouth, for saving us. Bella, he breathes. I'd slaughter armies for you. She knows. That's the terrifying, exhilarating truth. She knows, and she's falling anyway. Chapter 8, Betrayal and Truth. The courthouse steps are marble and granite, built to project authority and justice. Sienna climbs them at 9 a.m., dressed in a navy suit, her testimony prepared, evidence files secured in a locked briefcase. Dante walks beside her. Not Luca the bodyguard anymore, just Dante, her partner in this mission. His hand rests at the small of her back, protective and possessive. "You don't have to do this," he says quietly. "We can find another way." "There is no other way. Webb walks free unless I testify." She squares her shoulders. Marco deserves this. Federal prosecutor Sarah Chen meets them at security. Sharp-eyed, no nonsense. She's reviewed every document they provided. "Miss Russo, your testimony starts at 10. We've arranged a secure room for—" The first shot shatters the courthouse window. Chaos. Security scrambles. People scream. Dante tackles Sienna to the marble floor as bullets chew through columns in granite. She tastes blood, bit her lip in the fall, and adrenaline screams through her system. "Vincent," Dante's voice is ice and fury. He's making his move. They crawl toward cover, Dante's body shielding hers. More gunfire. Federal agents return fire. Then she sees him. Agent Marcus Webb, gun drawn, but pointing at the FBI agents, not the shooters. "Webb," she screams. He turns, and his expression confirms everything. No surprise, no confusion, just cold calculation. "Sienna," he fires. The bullet misses by inches. Dante returns fire, forcing Webb behind a pillar. "He's working with my father. Has been from the beginning." "What?" "Vincent couldn't risk your testimony exposing his pharmaceutical connections. Webb provided the hit team." Dante's jaw clenches. "I should have seen it. Should have known my father wouldn't let this stand." Webb emerges from cover, voice carrying over the chaos. "You think you're the hero, Russo? Your brother was a junkie and a snitch. He threatened my operation, so I cut him loose. Natural selection." Rage obliterates Sienna's fear. She lunges, but Dante holds her back. "You used him. He trusted you." "He was useful." Webb's smile is poison. "Just like you're useful to Moretti. You think he cares about you? He's a criminal playing pretend at legitimacy, using your credentials to launder his reputation. The moment you're inconvenient, you'll disappear just like Marco." "That's not true." Sienna breathes. "Isn't it? Tell her, Don Moretti. Tell her who you really are." The words detonate like grenades. Sienna freezes, turns, sees Dante's face, guilt and anguish etched into every line. What is he talking about? "The Bodyguard Act?" Webb continues, delighted by the destruction he's causing. "Luca Vitale doesn't exist. He's Dante Moretti. Has been since the elevator. You've been sleeping with the Don himself. Sweetheart, how's that for investigative journalism?" The world tilts. "No, you told me. You said." "I lied." Dante's voice breaks. "I had to. You wouldn't have trusted me otherwise." Before she can respond, Webb fires again. Dante shoves Sienna aside, and the bullet meant for her chest tears through his shoulder. He goes down hard, blood spreading across marble. She drops beside him, hands pressing against the wound. His blood is hot, pulsing between her fingers. His men swarm in, professional, lethal, calling him Don Moretti as they secure the area and execute Webb with 3 precise shots. Webb dies still smiling, having accomplished his final act of cruelty. Dante's eyes find Sienna's, hazy with pain. "I'm sorry, for the lie, for everything. But what I feel, that was never fake." Sirens wail. His men lift him onto a stretcher. Sarah Chen is shouting orders, securing evidence, trying to salvage the chaos. And Sienna kneels in Dante Moretti's blood, replaying every moment, every conversation, realizing the man she fell for never existed. He was always the monster wearing the mask of her savior. Prosecutor Chen crouches beside her. "Miss Russo, we need your testimony, now, while the evidence is still admissible." Sienna looks at Dante being loaded into an ambulance, then at Webb's body being covered with a sheet. Justice or love? The system or the criminal? Marco's memory or Dante's betrayal? She stands, blood on her hands, and makes her choice. Let's finish this. Chapter 9. Omerta broken. Dante testifies 3 weeks later, shoulder still bandaged, facing a grand jury that will determine the fate of everyone he's ever known. Sienna watches from the gallery, her own testimony already entered into record. Senator Aldridge is in federal custody. Agent Webb is dead. But the corruption runs deeper. Pharmaceutical executives, city officials, a network built on blood money and dead addicts. And now Dante Moretti, Don of the Moretti crime family, is about to commit the ultimate sin. He's going to tell the truth. State your full name for the record. Prosecutor Chen begins. Dante Luca Moretti. His voice is steady, despite the armed federal agents flanking him. Also known as Luca Vitale, an alias I used for protection operations. The admission ripples through the courtroom. Sienna's hands clench in her lap. Chen continues. Mr. Moretti, you've agreed to testify in exchange for immunity regarding specific charges. Is that correct? Yes. I'm providing evidence of corruption involving Senator Richard Aldridge, FBI agent Marcus Webb, and pharmaceutical companies that diverted prescription opioids into illegal distribution networks. Networks my family participated in. He pauses. Networks I'm dismantling. Why come forward now? Dante's eyes find Sienna's across the courtroom. Because 3 years ago, I failed to save a young man named Marco Russo. I was 29, a soldier in my father's organization, sent to collect a debt from a dealer. I found Marco in an alley, overdosed, barely breathing. I called 911, stayed with him, but I was too late. Sienna's vision blurs. Hearing him say it publicly, under oath, makes it devastatingly real. Marco's death showed me what our business actually costs. Not in dollars or territory, but in lives, in families destroyed. So I started the Marco Russo Memorial Youth Program. Started pushing my father toward legitimate operations. Started looking for a way out. His voice roughens. Then I met Marco's sister, and she made me want to be someone worth saving. The testimony lasts 6 hours. Dante provides bank records, shipping manifests, recorded conversations with his father discussing pharmaceutical payoffs. He implicates Vincent Moretti, 3 city councilmen, 2 federal agents, and the CEO of Paradiso Pharmaceuticals. He destroys his family's empire to build something clean from the ashes. When it's over, federal marshals escort him out through a side entrance. Sienna follows, credentials, getting her past security. She finds him in a holding room, staring at his hands like they belong to someone else. You came, he says quietly. I needed to know if any of it was real. Her voice shakes. The partnership, the investigation, us. The lie was Luca Vitale. Everything else, every conversation, every moment, that was real. He stands, moving carefully around his injury. I fell for you in that elevator. Spent weeks trying to protect you while falling deeper. By the time I should have told you the truth, I was terrified you'd look at me exactly the way you're looking at me now. Like you're a liar. Like I'm someone who doesn't deserve you. He stops a few feet away, giving her space. I broke omerta. My father has already put a price on my head. The family I have left wants me dead. And I don't care, Sienna. Because if testifying puts the people who killed Marco in prison, if it stops one more kid from dying in an alley while someone like me stands by helpless, it's worth it. Sienna studies him, this complicated, dangerous, broken man who lied to save her, killed to protect her, and destroyed his entire world because she made him want to be better. I should hate you, she whispers. I know. I should walk away and never look back. You should. She crosses to him instead, takes his hand, the one that killed Nico, that executed Tanaka's men, that tried desperately to save her brother. I'm a journalist who fell for a mafia boss. You're a criminal who turned informant for justice. We're both traitors to our worlds now. What are you saying? I'm saying redemption is messy, love is complicated, and maybe, her voice breaks, maybe we deserve a chance to figure out who we are outside of revenge and family expectations. Dante's hand tightens on hers. They'll come after us. Both sides. We'll spend years looking over our shoulders. Then we look together. She rises on her toes, kisses him gently. Marco would have liked you. The real you. The one trying to save kids like him. Sienna, let's go. Before I change my mind. They walk out of the courthouse together, past reporters shouting questions, past federal agents and protesters. Vincent Moretti's empire is crumbling. The pharmaceutical executives are being arrested. Justice, imperfect and bloody, is finally being served. And somewhere in the chaos, two people who should be enemies, who should hate each other, walk away hand in hand, choosing love over loyalty, redemption over revenge. The future is uncertain, dangerous, possibly doomed. But it's theirs. The end.